You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Colorado. This is the Weekend Review podcast for August 12th through August 16th. If you'd like the show notes with the links to the stories we're covering today, please visit engagetherockies.com and sign up to our email. Every Friday, we'll send you the list of articles when a new episode is released. From around the state, Governor Jared Polis confirmed that a deal has been reached and he will convene the Colorado General Assembly in a special session in a few days to tackle the compromise aimed at pulling two initiatives from the November ballot and providing more property tax relief to residents and businesses. The groups behind the two initiatives said the compromise means nearly $1.6 billion in annual tax savings to Coloradans. The special session will start on August 26th, the governor told Colorado Politics. Quote, "The goal is to provide additional property tax relief," he said, adding the compromise builds on the work that the legislature has already done. Just as importantly, the governor said the deal eliminates the risk of huge ballot fights this November by withdrawing Propositions 108 and 50. Advance Colorado and Colorado Concern confirmed that a compromise has been reached with the governor and the legislative leaders, and that this deal ends the current and future efforts to further reduce property taxes. The two groups said the agreement cuts the effective residential property tax rate to 6.3 or 6.4%, depending on assessment growth, reduces the commercial property tax rate to 25%, caps growth to 5.25% for local governments, and 6% or inflation growth, whichever is greater, for school districts, ensures a, quote, clear and non-biased ballot language in the required vote of the people to opt out. Moving on. The number of people experiencing homelessness across the Denver metro area increased by 10% to a record 9,977 people, according to the annual point-in-time count released by the Metro Denver Homelessness Initiative Wednesday. The number of families experiencing homelessness also increased by over 1,000, from 2,101 in 2023 to 3,136 in 2024. In total, 2,919 people, around 29.2%, were unsheltered, while the remaining 70.7% of people counted were in emergency shelters, safe havens, or transitional housing. This was a slight improvement from 2023, when 30.4% of the homeless population were unsheltered. However, due to the increase in the number of people in the count overall, there were more unsheltered people included in the 2024 count than in any prior year. The majority of people experiencing homelessness were located in the city and county of Denver, with 6,539 people included in the count, around 65%. The Metro Denver Homelessness Initiative said that while the point-in-time count was 9,977 this year, the number of people who experience homelessness in the region throughout the year is likely closer to 30,000. Moving on. Jillaire McMillan was selected by a Democratic vacancy committee Thursday night to be the party's nominee in the toss-up House District 19, which may decide whether Democrats keep their supermajority in the House next year. McMillan, who lives in Weld County and runs a small business with her husband, beat out three other candidates in 2 rounds of voting to win the vacancy election. There were 31 voting members of the vacancy committee. McMillan will replace State Representative Jennifer Parenti of Erie as the Democratic nominee on the November ballot. Parenti dropped her re-election bid on July 19th, about a month after she ran uncontested in the primary, saying she, quote, "cannot continue to serve while maintaining my own sense of integrity." Parenti beat then State Rep. Dan Woog, a Republican, in 2022 by 1,467 votes, or 3 percentage points. Woog is running again in the district, which straddles Boulder and Weld counties. Moving on. Colorado legislators are launching a Second Amendment caucus, which organizers said will focus on promoting and protecting the right to keep and bear firearms in Colorado. Quote, "Today marks an important step in defending the Second Amendment rights of every Coloradan," said Representative Ryan Armagoss. Quote, The Colorado Second Amendment Caucus is committed to creating sensible policies that protect our freedoms while promoting responsible firearm ownership and safety, end quote. According to Armagoss and Representative Scott Bottoms of Colorado Springs, the caucus's mission centers around three core principles: crafting thoughtful policies that uphold the Second Amendment, maintaining a bipartisan commitment to defending these rights, and educating the public on firearms and firearm safety. Legislators said the caucus was established in response to increasing worries from constituents about firearm legislation at the state capitol and the need for a balanced approach that respects the Second Amendment while addressing safety issues. In local El Paso County news, Colorado Springs residents could see competing recreational marijuana ballot questions in November. The Colorado Springs City Council voted 8-1 to send a question to the ballot that would ban recreational marijuana stores in the city's charter. A charter amendment would trump a city ordinance. The vote followed extensive public testimony that touched on the potential harms of marijuana, the benefits of expanding sales in town, and letting voters decide how to regulate marijuana. At the same time, a citizens group has submitted signatures to put a question on the ballot to allow recreational marijuana stores in town. The citizens' proposal would only allow the existing medical marijuana shops to transition to selling marijuana recreationally. The revenues would support public safety, mental health services, and the post-traumatic stress disorder treatment programs for veterans. City Clerk Sarah Johnson said the city was verifying signatures on Tuesday, so she couldn't say if the citizens' question would make the ballot. The citizens group was about 8,800 signatures short so far, she said. 2 years ago, city residents turned down a question to legalize recreational marijuana sales in town, with 57% voting against it. Councilwoman Yolanda Avila was the only one to vote against the charter amendment, noting that the problems around addiction are already present. And lastly, Colorado Springs City Council members reversed their decision to annex 3,200 acres adjacent to Fountain. The council voted 5-4 to reverse a vote it took August 1st to accept the annexation. La Plata Communities was pitching the annexation the company envisioned as a subdivision called Amara that could be home to 9,500 homes plus millions of square feet of retail space, schools, parks, and public facilities over the next 25 years. Council members Lynette Crow-Iverson, Dave Donaldson, Nancy Hingham, and Michael Malley also opposed the annexation along with Helms. Donaldson changed his vote from August 1st, saying he believed his vote Tuesday was in line with citizens' views. The council voted to change its decision after hearing serious questions from business owners facing high costs. They also heard concerns from the leaders of Manitou, Springs, and Fountain, and farmers in the lower Arkansas Valley. Residents and businesses were expected to help pay for the expansion on their monthly bills. The cost was expected to be about $8.30 a month the first year and then vary after that. Businesses and large customers, such as school districts, would have paid far more. Those are your top stories for the week of August 12th through August 16th. Please tune in each Friday for your week in review from Engage the Rockies. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. If you'd like the full articles from the stories we read today, sign up to our email list at engagetherockies.com and we'll send you our show notes each week. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.